It costs $0 to pull out a woman's chair before she sits down or open her car door for her.
You know, you should be paying for the dates. You should be acting like the man. From a man's mindset, that's what you really need to be thinking is, are you the man or you're not the man? You got to be it. You got to have the pride in being a man.
Yeah.
If you want a woman to act like a lady, treat her like a lady.
That's a good quote.
Right? So, but yeah, it is, it does get, again, like I said, a lot of the things that guys get this confused and they think it's being too much of a nice guy and that's not, it's not being a nice guy. If you do it for the wrong reason, if you're just trying to do everything to make her happy and please her and really like, you can't really be a nice guy in that sense unless you're being disrespected and then still proceeding to be people pleasing.
Right. Or still even associating with a woman that's disrespecting you and you had a boundary and she's crossed it multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, you should come from a place of who you are. And the thing is, like I mentioned, like with a lot of like the 50-50 guys these days, I feel like you don't see even the chivalrous acts that cost $0.
No.
Like it costs $0 to pull out a woman's chair before she sits down or open her car door for her or like open the door so she can walk in or, you know, whatever it is. Those are free and guys still won't do them.
Right.
And I know a lot of it is because, again, like men have got a bad taste in their mouth about women and vice versa. But for the men out there who are gentlemen and who are real men and who listen to what you say and listen to what we have to say, if you are already a gentleman and maybe you haven't done some of these things before, if you start implementing those things because they're who you are, they will set you apart from men so fast that it's such a small little detail that you can add in there that will make a difference when you're going on a date with a woman. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Yeah, because it is become more rare, strangely. And like you said, all the 50-50 guys, you should be doing more than just the chivalry, right? But you know, you should be paying for the dates. You should be acting like the man. That's what it, like from a man's mindset, that's what you really need to be thinking is, are you the man or you're not the man? Right. I saw a post from, I think it was Ryan Mishler. He has that podcast, the Order of Men podcast, or anyway, he had posted something on Instagram when he was talking about how basically about men whining. And he was like, saying it's harder or all these things are complaining. And it's like, it's a thankless, you're a man. That's why you do the things. They're hard. It doesn't matter. It's not fair. It doesn't matter. You're a man. You know, I'm paraphrasing. But basically, I agreed with him 100%. That's like, you don't try and figure out, like, take pride. It's kind of what we talked about before, is take pride in being a man. Yeah. And part of chivalry is taking pride in being a man, right? And from your mindset as a man, you got to think, I do this, like, I act this way. I do these things because I'm the man, and that's why the man pays for the date. That's why it's not because what's fair. It's not because what is she bringing to the table, all that. It's because you know who you are and you're the man. Right. And it's like, if you don't have pride in that, then
you're hopeless.
Yeah. Then I can't help you. Like, you got, like, it has to mean something to be the man. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? That's, and women want it to mean something to be the man. Right? That's why they're looking for the man. That's why when we did have that clip that was, a woman needs to be put in her place, right? And it went somewhat viral, and tons of women were agreeing with that, right? Because they want a real man, right? Again, the context, it has to be said in the right way, done in the right way. It's not, and in that clip, I didn't say, it wasn't a derogatory thing, no, right? But women want a man, right? So you got to be it. You got to have the pride in being a man. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I want to throw this in there, or I guess I should have said this one first, right? What is chivalry? Like, what would you classify it as? Yeah, it's hard because if you go back to the origins of chivalry, right, it's the knights, right, in England, and they would swear allegiance to a maiden, and then they would, like, basically do anything for their maiden and do all these kind of things to prove their worthiness to a maiden. So that's kind of where it originated from. But I think the more modern version of like what is chivalry, it is essentially placing a woman on a pedestal, right? It is, again, and that gets misinterpreted. It's like you shouldn't place a woman on a pedestal and be like, and then think that she's so above you and that you're not.
That's why I was hesitant to like use that.
Yeah. But
even though I agree with you that that is the sort of idea because you value that woman so much. But
think of her, if you don't want to think about placing her on a pedestal, which I understand the negative implications of that, because that's where a lot of guys have gone wrong in doing that and being a nice guy.
Right.
Think of her as made of glass. Okay, she's made of glass.
Dainty.
She's fragile, right? So chivalry is treating a woman in that way, as precious, as fragile, as you throw your coat down so she can walk over the puddle, right? Like you give her your shirt when she's cold. Like you open the door so that she doesn't have to touch the dirty door with her hand or make the effort. You talk to the waiter for her so that she doesn't have to interface with this, with this peasant or not a, you know what I'm saying, but back for the old day. But that was what it was back in the old days. You don't have to interface with the servant. I'm gonna take care of this for you, right? It's those things. It's making it so that you're treating her in a precious way, which shows that she's a lady. That being a lady has value in itself. That just by virtue of her being a lady, that these are the things that, right? Which again, this goes against that whole, what does she bring to the table?
Right.
The idea is that chivalry really is saying that just being a woman, just being feminine valuable. And a female in itself is extremely valuable and should be protected and preserved. And it doesn't even apply to that specific woman. It's the idea, you're lifting up the idea of femininity. You're lifting up the idea that some things should be soft and preserved and precious, and not everything should be hard, and some things should be spared from the harshness of the world and protected. It's the ideal that you're holding up that is valuable. And when you're opening up doors, when you're doing those things, you're lifting that up and you're saying that this is something that is good and I want to keep it that way. And that's what it is.